We're here now with Mike Magee, who is running for the position of Constable, Precinct 1. Thank you for your time and being here this afternoon with us. Lillian, if you'd like to start us off.
Thank you. Mr. Magee, do you currently hold the qualifications of Constable, and to what extent do you have experience in the law enforcement field?
I currently have the experience to be a constable. I've got 25 years law enforcement experience. I have served civil papers, I've made arrests, I've done investigations. I'm just an all-around, being a patrol officer for that many years and being able to help out on several different investigations, homicide investigations, and I think I'm capable to handle the job of Constable Precinct 1.
Thank you.
As a constable, your duties are pretty well defined and limited duties. So what do you see as being the most important part of the duty of the job of a constable?
Being able to serve your paperwork diligently and have it on time to be able to be returned back to the attorney or the judge that had issued the paperwork. And also, I think the visibility of the constable being out in his precinct and being known.
What is the most dangerous part of a constable's job, and are you prepared to handle it?
Serving the civil papers, it's a very sticky subject as far as some of the paperwork that has been issued to you are divorce papers. And divorce papers you see in the newspapers and articles where constables have been shot because trying to serve civil papers because they're probably thinking they've got an arrest warrant or something to that statute.
What would you like people to know about the constable's job that you don't think they know now?
A lot of people doesn't understand what a constable does, for number one. Because out in my campaign now, I get asked frequently, well, what does a constable do? And I explain to them, they serve the court papers that's handed down from the courts and from the lawyers to be able to serve the paperwork as soon as possible for the people that has issued the paperwork out.
Please expand on the fact why you are taking on this task of challenging a long-term incumbent for this position of constable.
That's a very good question. The reason why I took on this task because 2-3 years ago I went to Roy because I heard rumor that he was going to retire. And I went to Roy. I said, Roy, are you going to retire? And he said, yes, I'm going to retire at the end of December. I said, well, I'm going to put him for the job position. And then after he didn't retire, I went to him in 3 months later and asked him, I said, Roy, I thought you was going to retire. And he said, no, my people want me to stay. I said, well, I can understand that. I said, well, are you going to retire at the end of your term? Yes, I am. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to run for the position. And I'd had people in the precinct ask me to come back into law enforcement because I was just in the general area all the time at their needs. And for some odd reason, Roy decided to jump back into the race again, and then he jumped parties. He jumped from a Democrat to a Republican.
Kind of a philosophical question, Mike, because you've been in law enforcement so long and serving papers of the court. In your view, what is the basic, at its root, purpose of the law at any level?
Everybody should be treated equal and fairly. And don't do anything to others that you wouldn't want done to yourself.
So it's being said in our country that we're having a spiritual identity crisis from the invasion of Islam infiltrating our core belief system and foundational principles that are based upon God, the Bible, and our Constitution. Our president proclaims he is a Christian leader, but his fruit reveals he isn't seeking the God our country was founded upon. And the consequences we face now is that our nation stands to lose its Christian identity. The spiritual relationships of our elected leaders heavily affect our nation and which direction our nation will turn. So how would God and the Bible affect your leadership role as a constable and how you would conduct your delegated power to uphold God's righteousness within our community?
I'm a Christian man. I attend church at Very Best Baptist Church. It's a small community in my precinct, and I believe in God because He's been there when I needed Him. And like I say, I just believe in God because He is the number one in my book.
Why are you running for the position of constable, and what quote or motto would you say describes your outlook?
Could you repeat your question, please, sir?
Why are you running for the position of constable, and what quote or motto best describes your outlook?
The reason why I'm running for constable because I think the precinct needs somebody that's going to be there. And my motto is, if you need help, I'm going to be there. And I'm going to be visible within my precinct and probably other precincts because the other precincts combine each other and you kind of slip out of your precinct a little bit to help the other officer out or something like that. And my motto is going to be that if you need me, I'll be there.
Thank you. We would love for you to give us a closing statement, please.
Well, my closing statement is going to be that I'm a second-generation law enforcement officer in my family. My father was a 30-year veteran of the San Angelo Police Department, and I kind of followed in his footsteps. And I'm trying to beat his record of 30 years. And it's been tough. It's a rocky road. And I'm currently employed with the Upton County Sheriff's Department. It was a spur-of-the-moment deal that I had retired from Tom Green County, and I kind of lost my calling. I had to go back to my roots where I was good at. And I just want everybody to know that if you need help, you can't find help, please call me and I'll help you.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.